Hello, guys. And I am back. It has been a minute, maybe a few years. But I've decided to take my channel a different route. I am a hairstylist, so I wanted to show you guys different hairstyles and how to properly do them. Beginning with this one. This is how I do my illusion install, aka the versal install. We had gotten away from installs with leave out because of all the lace, but ain't nothing like an install with leave out. But here you can see that I first section off the hair. I pull out all of the perimeter of the hair, and I use a metal rat tail comb to see if I have everything covered or the tracks will be covered, to make sure the tracks are covered. So basically I just take the hair and flip it over the comb. I section off, I leave out about maybe 2 to 3 inches of hair depending on the thickness of the client's hair. And then I take that part and flip it over the rat tail comb to see if it will be covered, if it will cover tracks without being able to see right through it, as you can see here. And then I take that part and of course braid it down. But like I was saying before, we've kind of gotten away from doing this with all of with I guess, the convenience of lace and not having leave out or whatever, no heat damage. But there is a way to do this without, having to suffer from heat damage. The thing is just not putting more heat on dirty hair. I just tell my clients, if it frizzes, it frizzes. I mean, it can't be that bad. Put a silk scarf over it. Keep your edges tied down with a silk scarf. Don't take it off. If you sweat, don't take it off until you stop sweating. So I also section off the front. Same thing. I leave about 2 to 3 inches out, depending on the length and thickness of the hair. On this client, the front I only took out about 2 inches. On the sides and back, I think that was probably about 3 inches. Her hair is typically fine, her hair is fine, not typically. So I have to leave out a little more. It's always hard to cover her tracks. And I started doing this because a client of mine, she was a new client. She said she wanted to install. She said like she only uses about 2 bundles of hair, and she likes leave out so she can put it in the ponytail. And I was like, okay. Normally we use 3 bundles and we double weft it, but that's not what you're about to see me do in a few minutes. And then I have taken out, she wants a side part, so I took out the hair for a side part. And that's probably about, maybe 3.5, 4 inches or whatever that I leave out in width, as far as her side part goes. Like I said, her hair is fine and tracks will show. But anyway, I also do microlinks, and some people just don't, they don't know whether or not that's something that they want to commit to, or or don't want to pay for that much money for that type of service. So this is kind of a service that they can get just to see if that's something that they want to invest in the future. It's similar. It doesn't lay as flat. Don't get me wrong. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's not going to lay as flat as microlinks or I-tips. It's just not. So here I am going to start my braids for the wefts to be sewn on. I section off maybe a 1/2 inch of hair. You can probably go thinner, but yeah, about a 1/2 inch of hair. And I start at where the leave out is, like that back portion of where the leave out is. I start there, and I just braid around. Some people add hair, but if I can get a good grip on it, I don't add hair. I try not to, because I do want the braids to be as thin as possible in that area so that the track will lay down flat where the part is and there's no lumps. But yeah, like I was saying, most people, some people want to try microlinks, but they're afraid. That is a huge investment. And what if I don't like it? So this will give you a good idea of how you're going to do with that, whether or not you're going to like that type of install. I mean, it is different because with microlinks, like all of your hair is out, but it's just a good way to see if you want to go to the next step. And most of the time they do like, hey, let me go ahead and try microlinks. So I braid from the area that I told you about, and I braid all the way around and across the back, from I guess one side of the head to the to almost close, maybe 3 inches away from the ear on the other side. And then you'll see here, you can see better here, like where I started. I do the same thing with this side. And I just braid it down, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go across the other direction. Well, to the right side. And again, I didn't add any hair because I wanted it as thin as possible. But yeah, I'm kind of happy they're going, people are, going back to installs with leave out. To me, it's nothing like an install with leave out. I'm kind of trying to get away from taking any new clients for frontals and things like that, because it's just not they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's not my passion. I'm just looking into doing more of a conservative look, more micro links, more color, more blowouts, more traditional installs, things like that. I'm kind of just over the whole frontal thing. Plus, it takes me forever to do a frontal. Right now, my current clients that are getting frontals or lace closures, I prefer them having a wig, unless it is now a lace closure install. I will do that as a sew-in, but I prefer, like, if you're getting one with like the I guess the frontal technique on your closure, then yes, I do want you to get a wig, and I of course want you to get wigs with frontals. So here, I don't go back to the same area. I'm not sure, I can't remember like what part of this video you get to see, but I just start braiding. So basically what I do is I section the hair in half of the head. And I'm going to braid a circle on the right side and a circle on the left side, if you get what I'm saying. You'll see in a minute once I show you at the end. But I don't start the braid in that same section. But I do start the braid at the top of the head. And then I'm going to catch up. You see that piece hanging? I'm going to catch that up and keep her going. But yeah, I remember it took me forever to kind of learn, I guess, the proper technique of laying lace down. And so you see there, I braided that in a circle, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. But yeah, and just not really realizing like that has never been my passion. Like, I love blowouts, and I love flowy hair, and I love traditional installs. Like, traditional install me, please. Like, I absolutely love them. And this client, she's had eye tips before, and with her hair being so fine, the eye tips would just kind of like slide out, which you're gonna lose tips. You're gonna lose tips, but hers was just coming out like so bad because she produces a lot of oil. I'm not sure if that's why, or she just needed a different type of tip, metal tip, or whether to put her hair in. I'm really not sure. But she didn't want to try it again. She's also done tape ins, and tape ins last maybe 4 to 6 weeks. I guess with the oil, and she sweats, or whatever, they cause hers to slide. But they lasted about 6 weeks before we took them out. but it is very, very, very temporary. I have people who don't keep installs in that long, so I highly recommend it for those people. But if you're looking for something that's going to be a little longer, like, no, tape-ins are not, that's not the one for you. So you can see here, I have 2 circles on both sides of the head. And then I'm just going to take that braid and tuck that there. I don't think I sewed it down because I'm going to put the net right on it. And I'm just stitching a net onto her hair. This helps the install last longer. This also helps protect the hair from any damage. Plus, it does help you move a lot faster because you're not looking for a braid to sew it to. Now, me as a hairstylist, when I get mine done, I don't like this net. I had a net the last time I got an install, and it drove me freaking crazy. I cannot scratch my head. I probably shouldn't say that to y'all, but yeah, you need to use a net on your clients. But I couldn't scratch or anything, and I do have some clients who's just like, no, I don't want that net. I don't know what to do with them. I just have to kind of beg them to get it, but sometimes they insist, like, I do not want that net. I'm not going to keep it in long, and I'll go ahead and not use it. But if I see that there's damage, then no. So here I am starting to sew the tracks in. What I do is where I begin. You see where her eyebrow is? I begin there. So I'll place the end of the track there. And what I'm doing is a technique called stitch in a ditch, where you kind of make the weft tuck under the first braid. So when you flip it up, it's tucked under, and it's easier to hide the track with your own hair. And I colored her bundles. She wanted some extra color, so she has like some light blonde highlights. My lighting in my salon is horrible, so you're not able to really see, like, everything kind of looks like a honey blonde, but it's not. It's like a variation of maybe 3 different colors, like a honey blonde, and then a very light blonde, and then I have like a chocolate brown or honey brown. And then what I do is I take that track and I flip it over. So I sew this all the way to about maybe 2 inches from where the leave out is. I flip that over and I start sewing back to in the other direction. And I'm only doing a single weft. I'm not doing double weft because it's gonna lay flatter. But I sew the tracks extra close to each other. So in the end, I end up using 2 bundles and a part of the third. But I know when I got finished, she was like, you use way more bundles the last time. I was like, it's not the same kind of install. Like, I had already told, like, and even in my, my booking link or whatever, when you book me, I do say, like, hey, you only use 2 bundles of hair for this. That's why I don't really call it a versatile sew-in, and I call it the illusion sew-in. And I gave it a different name because of the fact that I'm only using 1 bundle. But the thing is, you're sewing these tracks extra close. You're sewing them right on top of each other. And if you notice, like, when I sew, I don't know if you can really see, but I take the needle and I pull the needle through, and wherever I pull the needle out is where I put the needle back. I put the needle back in that area and I pull through. I do not sew through the wefts. The only time I sew through the wefts is when I'm ending it and I'm knotting the needle. I'll bring the needle through the weft or whatever to knot the needle just for extra security. But I don't sew through wefts because I don't know. Then you end up with a bunch of strings on your tracks. Plus, it's easier for the client to remove the install. So when they snip the knot, they should be able to just pull that track and all the strings should come up. So it's easy for you to take out. But when you go through the wefts, like it's so hard to take out. It's so hard to remove the sew in. And basically I just kept doing that until I got up to this part. So here you're going to start seeing me flip the tracks over and just stand in that area. I'm not going to go to the other side. I end the other side about, and I love to use this, 2 inches away from where the leave out is. So about a braid, 2 braids or whatever away, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not flipping over yet. So yeah, you're going to see me. You see that space that I have right there at the top near the leave out? That's how much I'm going to use. I'm going to probably cut the track here and then start on the other side with flipping it over. Just on the side that she's going to wear a majority of the hair, so she's doing the side part. But you see right there, yeah, I'm going to I cut the track. And I pull the needle through the weft. And I'm just going to take this to the other side. Trying to slow it down so you can see what I'm doing. And I bring it all the way over. And now, promise this time, this is where I'm going to start flipping the tracks over when I get to the end. And again, you see how when I pull the needle through, I put the needle back where I pull the needle out at. So the stitches are close together. And it gives more security. So I pull it through. There you go. And then I'm just going to knot it there and flip that track over. I'm probably going to cut it. Yeah, I'm going to cut it. I did not review this video before I started commentating on it. So it's kind of hard to remember what I did. Did I start flipping over here or not? But and it's just like it's not really a very, very detailed video, as you can see, but it does give you a good idea of how I do this type of install. I am thinking about doing more videos like this, and also offering detailed videos like building a site, like a course site or whatever. I don't know what they call them, but is it called Teachable? Whatever, like that kind of site where you can pay for courses on how to, that are in depth on how to do these. Because this is just me filming with my ring light in the salon. Um, like I need something where somebody is actually filming me and they're able to get all angles so I'm not in the way. Because as you see, I'm all in the way. My hand's in the way. You can't really see what's going on. But you see how I flipped it over in that area or whatever. I flipped the track over, and I believe this is the last track before I finish off the last row. Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to, start here and then maybe, build up to knowing how to do this, because this is really like my first time doing something like this, to where I can teach other people um, how to do these type of installs and microlinks and yeah, because I think I do have a passion for teaching. And with me being 40, like I just gotten to a point where, hey, it's almost time for me to sit down. It's almost time for me to retire. But here, so my last track, I use the same technique, and but when I started out, when I stitch the stitch, put that first stitch in the track, I start pulling kind of tight, not too tight to where you're going to pull out somebody's edges, but I start pulling kind of tight in order to get this as close to the part or the leave out as I possibly can. This gives you better coverage, better leave out coverage, or better track coverage. The closer you get to the edge or the part. And then I cut the remainder of that net off. And as you can see, so you see like the stitch and ditch method, you can see where you can't see the weft, and it is a flat ponytail already without me even covering it up. And you see how the hair covers the track. There you go. And I'm using my Babless porcelain iron for her leave out. Like I said, she has very fine hair. So here I am brushing it up into a ponytail just to see if this is gonna work, and to show her like pretty much what we got. And here you can kind of see like the highlights and like the trio of colors. You can kind of see it better there. And I've already curled it. And I'm just showing her how, she can put it in the ponytail. Like I said, it's not as flat as microlinks, but it's flat enough for you to wear like a high pony. I mean, she wouldn't turn that hair right for nothing. I'm just trying to smooth out everything so that I can show her. But yeah, there you go. And you can see that you can wear a high pony. To me, it's better with the middle part. but it still works with a side part. And I'm doing my infamous, they call it a womp. Somebody call it, I remember we used to call it a thought bang, but everybody's like, how do you do that? I try to do that at home, but it's like it's all in your wrist or something. I don't know how you do that. But it's like all stylists do it, and I can't get it like that at home. But I'm like, I don't even think about it that way. But there is just so much body and bounce. Just so much body and bounce. And I did cut a few extra layers in this. But she is all done. Until next time, guys.